you guys, Ginger Cook here. This is Acrylic Painting Monday. This is what we call our premiere. And if at all possible, John will be and I will be in the live chat. So if you're watching this as we premiere the video, we'll be able to answer questions and talk with you. This is called First Cup. And this is kind of a painting with people always say, I want to learn to paint loose. And this is what we call painting very loose. Nothing's really blended. It's a lot of layers of color. And there's a lot of play on lights and darks in this. I think it's a kind of a happy morning kitchen piece. And we think that you're going to have a lot of fun with it. We hope you do. Where are we in the world right now, John?
I believe we're still up in Norway. We're in the northern part, up towards the Arctic Circle.
Up toward the Arctic Circle. So again, we may not be able to be part of the chat because the internet there is a little sketchy. So we wanted to give you, it's a little bit longer video. We wanted to give you a chance to really sink your teeth into this type of painting. It's on a 12 by 12 canvas. The traceables for this are available at paintwithginger.com. And you want to be an orange member or above. And that's a great deal because, you know, when you don't get the one traceable, you get when you sign up for the traceables, you get all the traceables clear back to 2020 is on the website for everything we've done all through COVID, all the quickies. So that's fun, and it's a nice way to show your support. I want to thank you in advance, you guys, for those of you who have, donated to our scholarship fund today over on our website. And again, this is going to be a simple painting, but it takes a little time to layer it, okay? So it's not difficult, but you got to kind of watch the layers and how we did it because it's a little bit different than how we normally paint things, but I think you're going to have fun with it. Let us know and have fun with First Cup.
And on with the show.
I just going to say hi to everybody, and just right this second I put paint on my face. It's unbelievable. I had some white paint on my nose, and I just got it on my face.
You have a little mustache.
The camera isn't on me. All right, so we've got a 12 by 12 square. Now, it's going to come up that I have a rectangle. I want to do it on there. Don't do it. Don't even bother. Don't waste your money. Don't do it. This was designed as a square. It was not designed as a rectangle. It was not designed as a vertical or horizontal. It is designed as a square. So if you don't have a square canvas, just don't paint this one. How's that? Maybe you can see some techniques, or maybe you can just paint a couple little coffee cups, but don't try to do this if you don't have the right size. Now, we're going to do pretty much all the colors are out except for magenta, which usually I put out. But we have phthalo blue and ultramarine blue, and we have burnt sienna and burnt umber. We have a mauve, which is kind of a purple. We have cad red light, cad red medium. We have cadmium orange. We have marigold. We have cad yellow light, cad yellow medium, and yellow oxide, titanium white. And the color we've got here, Matisse, is buff titanium. You could also use, the other brands have like an off-white. It's like a beige white. And that's what you want as opposed to, so just any beige white. Now, if you only have white and you don't have that, you could mix white with a little bit of raw umber, and you'd get a tiny bit of yellow oxide, and you'd get a color like that, okay? So you don't have to have that, but it's convenient. So that being said, I want to start off with a large back in the background. We're going to go ahead and put that in first. And let's see, we want a brush that's pretty big brush for a background like this on canvas, probably about like that. And the color I want to mix is sort of a purple brown. And you're going, well, what is that? And let's see if I can't tear off this. Now we're going to use our palette knife, and I'm going to take some white paint like so.
That's just your titanium, right?
Yeah, that's just titanium. Here's some burnt sienna, like that. So you just kind of
smush it around.
Smush it around. Okay. I want a little bit of phthalo blue, like about 1%. Put that in there. A little bit more of that color. Okay. Close, but not quite yet. I'm going to take a little bit of this mauve, this purple color, like a little tiny bit like that much. Add that. We're getting there. Remember I said I wanted a purple brown. Want a little bit more phthalo blue. That was ultramarine. Let's try phthalo. That was ultramarine blue before. Now what do we got? All right, that we're getting there. Scrape and squish. You see that? So it's kind of a gray blue. It's kind of more it is. And I'll take a little bit more burnt sienna and white. And I think instead, rather than contaminate my white, I'll just put a little white paint over here. And I'm mixing a lot of this color. So you see, there we go, like that. There we go. That's the color, and I'm not going to mix it up too much. I want it kind of like that. That's not my gray color. Now, we'll take this brush and we'll dampen it and wipe it off like that. And come on up here and just see it. See, it's a beautiful gray color, isn't it? Kind of a light gray. This is our first coat of paint.
That is very close to a very great gray.
Huh?
That's brilliant gray.
Yeah, it's quite gray, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is our first color that we want to put on here. Because we have to build up on this background. It's not going to be just this color. We normally don't do anything this large for YouTube, but John and I are traveling. And I wanted something that you could just be so excited to paint. And this is going to be pretty easy. It's like a 2-cookie painting. It's just bigger. Okay. So that would be probably the main thing would be that the canvas is a little bigger, but it's not going to be, this is not going to be hard to paint. You could get the traceable for this. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit of burnt sienna now and add that to my white. Come up here and say, I want this to be more of a burnt sienna white color. Let's take a little of that off white. There you go. I'm going to say this is our windowsill, and I'm going to come straight down like this. So there's our burnt sienna color and white with a little bit of that buff titanium. Okay. All right, let's make sure that's nice and straight. Okay. Put a little of this gray color next to it. All right, so that's probably the, okay, and I want a little bit of this gray color underneath here like that. Just underneath the coffee cup like this. And that should be pretty good right like that. Then for this window ledge, I'm just going to rinse the brush off like that. See there? And just get a little of the buff titanium and just do this. There's my light window ledge. And then we're going to have a little dark window ledge here like that. This is burnt umber. Just come on straight down like this.
That is one thing those angle brushes do.
Oh yeah, they do. They're absolutely great with that, aren't they? Just bring that a little closer. Now, wipe that off, and then I'm going to take some white paint and phthalo, tiny touch of phthalo blue and phthalo green. Just about like that. Come over here and see if that's the color I've got. Yeah, a little tiny bit of phthalo blue there, like that. And some buff titanium. There you go. Look at that nice kind of robin's egg blue. Come up here on my window. Yeah, you could dry it first, but that's all right if I get some of this other color in here. This is just sort of my first coat. I just want to be very careful with this little straight line there, like that. All right, so that's the first part of my window ledge. That's in. So,
I like that. That's a pretty color, that green.
It is a pretty color, right? So I've got a lot of this gray paint left over, and what I want to do is just going to stop a minute now. John might pause the video. I'm going to just paint the edges gray.
I might pause it, but more than likely I will forget doing that. So while we're doing this, let's take a moment to thank the moderators for being here. Moderators, we know you're out there, and we love you for showing up each and every week to take care of the riffraff that may be coming into our room. Without the moderators, this show would not go on. Also, if you hadn't had a chance to subscribe, please take a moment to do so. It costs you absolutely nothing. It does help us get to more people because we think we are offering some quality lessons right here on YouTube. If you want some more in-depth lessons, we encourage you to come over to paintingwithginger.com and take a look at our academy and see the different lessons that we offer over there. We have over 750 lessons available, from the very, very beginner to the advanced artist. Hey, I'm talking here.
Oh, yeah.
You're supposed to be painting.
I'm painting that there. I'm going to just turn that around.
Making a mess.
Did I get the bottom of that?
No, you did not.
I was going to say, I don't remember doing the bottom.
You did not do 4 sides.
Okay, so I want to use like the rest of this paint up.
Just get a little something on there.
Yeah,
sometimes you want to do this because if you put it into a shadow box frame, that little part can show. And it's good to have it covered up and not have your raw white canvas sitting down there.
Okay, there we go. So now we got over a little far here, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, we'll cover it up.
Put all this stuff out of the way because it's rolling around here.
Whatever happened to your little red thing you were supposed to have down there at the bottom of you?
Oh, well, you said you didn't want it or something.
No. I never said that.
All right, I have to dry all this now, okay?
We can do that.
This all has to be dried. And just take a moment because we have planned this because we're traveling. We got some fun messages. Wait till you see. Watch and listen. You're going to love it.
Let's see if this still works like it used to work with her being muted, if you can still hear me.
Okay.
Well, there we go. That was a quick dry.
Yeah, so now we're going to change brushes and get one of the Art Tripper brushes out like this. This is the Half Moons.
That is that Raphael. Is that who they are?
Raphael. And we're going to take some burnt sienna and a little bit of the buff titanium, like that. Tiny bit of the purple. Okay. And more buff titanium like this. Something like that. That's kind of what I'm going for. Wipe it off the brush, and then I'm going to make little circular motions here. Barely touch this over my gray background. Tap it on, wipe it off, barely touch it. Maybe you want some of that gray kind of peeking through. This is just not a regular wall. It's much more interesting than that.
Good to know.
It's very lightly pressured. Are they pushing at all? You don't stay in one spot and make a circle. You'll dig a hole and you wouldn't be able to fix that. Barely. Just keep doing working the wet edges. If you didn't get quite enough, when you come back, you can do a second coat. If you feel like you could do a little more. I'll show you what that would look like. But this is just my first layer. See what I'm doing there? There's an awful lot of wall, so we didn't want it just plain. This is what you want to learn when you're painting with acrylics, is when to layer and how to layer. See, that's my first layer. We've got a little bit of this gray showing through. Now I want to take a little bit of I'm going to dry that real quick. Just like in seconds, this will be dry. We're going to take some of that phthalo green and a little bit of phthalo blue and all this buff titanium color, like that, right? Kind of wipe most of it off and come in here like this. Add a little bit of this color to there. Just a little more on the wall. If you've ever seen one of my original paintings, you'll notice that they all have a lot of colors. That's because I really work at making sure that there's layer after layer, not just one color. Take a little bit of buff titanium, right like that, wipe it up. Look at this gray color. Not too much of one, you can put a little gray coat. You can sure layer this easily enough. All right, see how we've got this nice light wall. All right. I think that's where we're going to leave that for now. So I'm going to dry that so I can move on with our other stuff, okay? Make sure this comes down far enough. All right. Well, actually, what I can do is I can take this other brush and I can do the... we're going to take some ultramarine blue and a bit of zinc white. Or not zinc white, the buff titanium, okay? So it's ultramarine blue, buff titanium. See that? A little bit more ultramarine blue. There's about the color, see there? We're going to go ahead and just, that's going to be our shadow color for this painting. This is a soft gray, and isn't it a beautiful color? We'll just paint it right up like that, down to the edge. We drew the handle in, but we can put it back. We don't need to keep the handle. Okay, and then we still got this soft gray color, so I'm going to take more of this buff titanium here. I want a tiny bit of the phthalo blue with it. You see it's, and a little bit of the ultramarine. Okay, see that's a slightly different color than this, and I want to paint my this pot. I want a little bit more buff titanium with that color. All right. Might be a little harder to cut in with this big brush. Possibly could have done a smaller one. I'm going to go out on the window ledge here because this is actually going to be, this is going to come around like this pot. All right. And I want some more of this kind of...
Basically, you're doing all the underpainting in different tones.
Yeah, here's some of this ultramarine shadow color underneath that. I'm going to see what we've got going here. This is where a smaller brush would be handy to cut this color in, rather than this big one that I'm trying to wield around, which is a little bit more challenging to do that with. We just have a little bit of white paint. That's the top of this cup. It's a little bit darker over here. Cut in here. There we go. This is just a little ultramarine blue under the still wet paint. This will blend in very nicely. You can see that's the shadow on this cup here. And all right, so sometimes you just have to, you can do something like that. And as long as I'm doing it, I'm going to take some ultramarine blue, paint the inside of this cup like that, this oval. And I know I've got it here like that. Here's the bottom of this. That's that china blue, isn't it, John?
Yes, it is.
Bright china blue.
Yeah. Your parents have that china?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Do our parents live together or what? I mean, neighbors?
What? They did. Just
so much of the same stuff.
Well, it was popular at the time.
I notice your oval's pretty darn good.
Take a little red with that and darken this right here.
It does seem to be what people struggle with.
Blue with it. Try that. I want this a little bit darker right there. The inside of the cup, right like that. And then I've got something a little bit darker here. We'll do that as long as I'm with some dark paint, okay? I always like to say, where else could I add a color? Could I darken up something here in this corner? Could I darken up this? Like that. As long as I paid for the paint, where else can I put it, right? That's kind of my thinking on it. I'm going to have a little bit of a blue line right here before we dry everything. Okay. And let's see, do we have a little bit of white paint? Let's see, wipe the brush off like that on your paper towel. Take a little bit of this buff titanium and just lighten up this color over here. All right. Get that bottom of that cup nice and dark right here. All right, so at some point we have to dry, and this is a good time to dry this. I want to make sure that this is straight down. There. All right, so I'm going to dry all this. And Well, actually, I don't have to. I could paint some blue on this cup first before I dry. So let's take some white now, phthalo blue, or rather ultramarine blue. And let's take some white, and let's just come on up here on this coffee cup like this. Now we want some phthalo green and blue and white.
It's like a teal.
Kind of a teal color. Say that that's some of this cup. And a little bit of white paint. Say it's a little bit lighter down in here. So it's kind of like a three-part colored cup. As long as we're doing it, right? And I want it a little bit darker down toward here, so bring it down like that. Got a lot of leeway as far as when you're painting something like this. There you go. So, I know that that's pure white here. Because this color is wet, is still wet, I can lighten up this color right here. Yes and yes. And let me bring this oval out a little bit further here. Let's say our cup's coming this way. And we'll have something over here. This actually is going to be yellow, but we'll just do this for now. Just get this oval here like that. All right, come under here like this. Make that a little bit smaller. All right, everybody's good with this? Okay, so that's kind of, there's a lot of blue in here. There's some blue in here. There's sort of that light blue color right here in this cup. So we still have blue on the brush, so we might as well do that. So in that case, we need to bring the, see, we don't have any more of this color here, this background color. We need to bring that down to the top of this cup, which we can do, right? All right. So that's a good stop, that's a good roughed in. People always say, well, how do you know how to rough something in? Well, we know that this is going to be kind of a light blue, gray color. All right, I'm going to dry it now, and then we'll keep adding our lights and darks. What do you guys think?
I think it's looking good so far. Kind of monochromatic.
Yeah, I see one thing I want to change about this pot, and then I can do that after we dry it.
Step into a world of vibrant colors, captivating patterns, and the unmistakable charm of Ginger Cook's artwork at Ginger's Art and Gift Shop. We've carefully curated a diverse selection of exclusive merchandise that showcases Ginger's extraordinary talent, all available at the click of a button at gingersartandgiftshop.com. Our delightful collection is brimming with artistic flair, featuring t-shirts, mugs, purses, and even puzzles, all designed to enchant and inspire. Express your unique personality with our t-shirts adorned with Ginger Cook's signature art. These trendy, high-quality tees will make a statement wherever you go, transforming everyday fashion into wearable masterpieces. We offer a variety of sizes and styles to suit everyone's taste, making them the perfect gift for art enthusiasts and trendsetters alike. Sip your favorite brew in style with our eye-catching mugs featuring Ginger Cook's vibrant designs. These sturdy, dishwasher-safe ceramic mugs are an ideal way to brighten up your morning coffee or afternoon tea, adding a splash of creativity to your daily routine. They also make an exceptional gift for friends, family, or colleagues who appreciate the finer things in life. Upgrade your accessory game with our stunning purses, each beautifully crafted to showcase Ginger's distinctive artwork. These purses are not only functional but also fashionable, ensuring you'll be the center of attention at any event. With a variety of sizes and styles, our purses cater to every need, from chic clutches for a night out to practical totes for daily use. For those who love a challenge, our puzzles featuring Ginger's art will provide hours of entertainment. Dive into the mesmerizing world of Ginger's creativity as you piece together these high-quality jigsaw puzzles. They make an excellent activity for families and friends to bond over, or a relaxing solo pursuit for art aficionados. Don't miss out on the opportunity to bring Ginger Cook's incredible art into your life. Visit gingersartandgiftshop.com today and browse our exclusive selection of wonderful merchandise. With our fun and friendly shopping experience, you're sure to find the perfect piece that speaks to you or makes an unforgettable gift for someone special. So why wait? Join us now and let Ginger's art brighten up your world.
Right now, I have this this pot's kind of squared, and I want to taper this in a bit like this. And the same thing here, I want to taper this pot in. It's going to come this way, but I want to taper this in like that and like this. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're just going to take some of the wall color, come up to the, let's make sure we have a clean brush because I had a lot of blue on that one before. I see that. See all the color I had on that brush?
A lot. Still had a lot on there.
Yeah, so all right, now let's come up here with this wall color. Taper that in, and the same thing with the light brown. I'm gonna come up here like that and say that this is the too much paint like this, and I'm just gonna taper that in, and then I think it's going to be something about like this. That's what we want to see. So I'll take some dark brown paint up here. That's burnt umber. Paint that. I'll just paint the whole, even though you're not going to see it, I'm going to paint it in. Because that helps me understand the shape of this pot. All right. And where that has to be. Okay. All right, so that's there, and then we want sort of a dark gray. Dark gray color over here. Just put a little purple with that and a little bit of yellow. That'll make a pretty good dark gray. A little bit of ultramarine blue. See what I'm doing? I'm going to say I want a dark, kind of dark shadow back here with this pot. All right, and let's make this let's do that here too. All right, so, yeah, okay. So far, so good? All right, so that's just kind of like your underpainting, but want something dark there. Up in that front part of the pot, even though we know it's going to be all plants and stuff. That's supposed to be all plants. All right, we'll have that. Now this pot has got some color on it, but we're going to use a little bit different brush. Just sort of a medium-sized brush, I think, kind of like this. So what I want to mix here is some light blue, like this, just some sort of white, and maybe a little ultramarine blue, and a tiny bit of phthalo green. There we go, some sort of turquoisey blue, and I want to come up here like this with this pot. And I'm going to say that that's kind of a light green color here. And nothing is ever quite the same color, so I'm just going to start adding some tones to this. Just some titanium white. It's too dark. Okay. A little purple in that. There we go. That's pretty. So we're going to come up here like this. Let's say on this pot like this. It's got some of this blue tone to it. Quite a bit at an angle. We're going to give some color to this pot. All right, now let's do, as long as we're in blues, let's play with this coffee cup now. We know that it has to curve out like this. All right, so it's curving this way, tapering in toward the center. All right, that's good. I want something pretty dark on this edge. That, nothing too crazy, but a little bit darker. A bit darker down here, something dark on the inside, like that, on the inside of the rim. So this is all about lights and darks. So we're going to say that, I don't think I want any purple, but I could have purple, but I just really want phthalo blue and phthalo green colors. It's kind of what I want for my light blue. Kind of a light sky blue up here like that. Put a little of that on the rim. I notice these are not supposed to be perfect. None of this is, you're not supposed to feel like you've got to have this totally perfect. Just sort of in general, we try to keep this as simple as possible. Okay. Wipe the brush off. Put a little bit of dark blue up here like that. And we will layer these, but right now, all we have to do is make sure that we got something dark under here, like that. Under that saucer.
A little bit of a shadow.
Yeah, we're just still putting in our shadows. And shadows, an interesting thing about shadows is that shadows, as they get away from what the darkest part of them, they lighten up. So I want this sort of pretty blue shadow right here. Absolutely lighten up. And then, like I say, nothing, if you just do this one color, nothing is ever the same color. Wipe that off and get a little bit of ultramarine with it. There you go. So I've got this shadow in here, and I've got some lighter shadows coming around here like this. A little bit of, let's see. Like I say, I want to lighten this up here in front of this coffee cup. I've got these light shadows. Okay, see what I just did there? I don't know if you can tell, but the same thing up here. Oops, too much light. And I've got a little bit of this buff titanium. And I come up here like this on here. Now what we have to do is dry this so we don't have blue in it, but that's what we're going for here, is this buff titanium color right here. Okay. All right, so we can let that pot sit there and just percolate like that. Sit there and percolate. So this is where we're just overlaying colors to create fun little shadows. Too much paint right there, just come along here like that. Say on this window ledge. I'll say that that's lighter right there. All right. So I need a totally clean brush for this pot right here.
Going a different color.
Which is yellow. So we're going to start with cad yellow medium. And you really want to maintain, here's some cad yellow light. You really want to maintain how bright this cup's going to be. And I don't want to lose this nice bright yellow. This is probably one of those little, more like a tin cup. Okay, so what do we know for sure about this? Well, we know for sure is that this oval comes over this way. But we need to really dry it before we go any further. So we'd have to dry that cup before we did anything else. So we're going to keep that brush for the yellow. And let's get a brush for the red. Now, we want some bright orange on this pot right here. So I'm going to put that in right now so I don't lose that bright orange color. Because it's going to be the brightest right where, because it's against the white. So I'm going to say I want this to be the brightest color before I do much of anything else. And let's see, where else could I put a little bit of that color? Right up in here too. All right, I think we're at a place where we can dry now. We're going to taper this cup in like that and like that. Make sure we have that taper. So you want to make the correct corrections. Going to do this up top. Okay, it's good to know what we're doing, right? I had a little bit of white and yellow on this. All right. So let's see, where's that other little brush I was using? Blue. It's much easier if you've got a couple brushes going. All right, you see how this paper towel is no longer functioning because it's just mixing all the colors together. So let's change it so that when I do this, see, now I can take my ultramarine blue here and cut that in right there on the cup. All right. All right, we did that. All right, so leave that cup alone. We dried it, right? So no, we can do a gray blue right in here because we dried it. Yes.
Yep. That's the key.
All right, got that one. See how I'm constantly, so rather than rinse the brush, what I do is I wipe it off. There's your shadow right there. Okay, on that cup. All right. So that brush can go in water, and we could play with this cup a bit. We've got a color called Marigold, which you're going to add to this cup. And let's see, what other color do we have? We have a little purple, which is the shadow color on this. All right, so that's kind of cool. Now if we take a little bit of buff titanium with that shadow color, we made a kind of a light purple and get some marigold. A little burnt sienna. See what I got there. Do I have an interesting shadow color? Yeah, almost. Not quite what I want though. So let's try marigold and burnt sienna. Maybe a little cadmium red. There we go. That's the color I want. See that? So I want to say that underneath this cup right here, there are these shadows. See how I'm adding some of the shadow to this side too? Okay, so then we've got this bright cup. Something slightly darker up here. You'll see me always reshaping the brush. That's just key here. All right. So that's working. Now, we could do a, see, then we have a tiny blue brush somewhere. Let's try this, and then we'll come back and reshape the coffee cup handle. This is a terrific example of how you want to have light in your painting. All right, so put the light on. So the rest of this has to be blue. See how we're just sort of carving out that cup color with this, just right around here, it's got to be blue. Okay. So that's this cup. You don't have to work too hard on it, but that's all right. So there we go. So there's that cup. We can work on this red one now. Well, we could put the white, as long as we're on it, let's go ahead and do this. Now on this one, I've got some just white, maybe a little bit of light paint on this. And then we've got I can't put the handle on there yet, okay? It's all right. Can't do that yet, but and why? Because we've got to do the highlights on the floor first. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and work on this cup now. And except for this really bright part where I had to have it light, we're going to take some red and a little purple, come up here like that, and say I want this to be darker. And that's where I might want to tape something to have it a straight line. Let's see, maybe something more like this. I don't get off too much on my pot. Let's put a little bit of ultramarine blue with that red, because this is the darkest part of this base. And then the top part of this is an oval. Comes out a little bit. It just doesn't have to be so perfect. I'm going to just soften that line a little bit now that I know I've got it straight. This is coming out here. So the top of it's just slightly bigger than the sides. Okay. All right. Now Take some cad red medium. I'm going to rinse the brush now. And then I'm going to go back to your cad red light. See how we're getting this kind of glazed color? Cad red light over this. It's dark down here at the base. So it's an interesting shadows on this. Take a little bit of ultramarine blue. Okay, that's the inside of this. Here's our dark shadow going off of it. All right, so those are some dark shadows right here underneath this cup. All right, and a little bit of purple and yellow. Purple, marigold. And let's darken up this. All right, so then we've got some interesting cups here, and we didn't have to do that much to create that. So I'm going to take some white paint, because I got this a little dark right here, and lighten that up. There we go. Sometimes you can just make a few adjustments with your lights or your darks. I think I could have some sort of dark color under here maybe. And then maybe something lighter on that coffee cup. All right. So, you know, when you're watching me paint this, you'll notice that it's all about, you know, John, we'll say it in unison together, it's all about the lights and darks, right?
Lights and darks and layers.
The layers, right? Because you can say now
you just can't have enough layers.
Yeah, and here's some of this. That color and a little bit on this edge here. You get a little glob, just kind of wipe your brush off. And this is as white as I want it, so then this color here has to be part of the base. See what I mean? And then this side here has got to be kind of a gray because it's in shadow. So we're not talking about that side of this cup right like that. There you go. So many little things to think about, isn't there? Just going to put a little bit of light right there because we can. All right, and let's say we had a little bit of light right in here like that. The inside of the cup like that. Okay, so coffee cup aside, we've got the 2 cups. Almost like a teacup, a coffee cup, and maybe that holds, what, coffee or something? So now what we're going to do is I want to just take a minute and we're going to put some greenery all the way up here like that, right? And I'm just going to show you how we're going to do that. We're going to take the phthalo green and phthalo blue and a little bit of red. Try that. Let's see, is that too dark? Just put a little cad yellow with it. There you go. Pretty dark. No, a little more blue with that. All right, so I want a pretty dark blue green leaf, right? Like that. And what we want to do is we're happy with the wall, right?
I think so. We better be.
So we're going to come up here like this, using these very bold brush strokes, almost Xing it. We're going to suggest that there's plants up here. Come down over this edge. All the way up to the top of this. We don't know what kind of plant it is, but it's whatever it is, it's growing out of there. All right, we're not saying too much about it. Now, I'm going to dry that, okay? All right, okay? Now, what we want to do, and John you might show those other pictures we haven't shown, the ones with the flowers, the flower field. I'm going to take, this is called cadmium green light from Holbein. If you don't have it, you can add a little bit of phthalo green to yellow. Let's just try both of those and see what we get, right? Okay, can we do that? So if I took some yellow, cad yellow light, let's see, over here like this, and I added some phthalo green, when I get a pretty bright light green, I need a lot more yellow, so I need something like this. And that's a pretty good green. I'm happy with that. Or I can take this green here, which you see it's a little bit brighter. Do you see that? And maybe not what I want. So I think I'm liking this lighter green with the phthalo blue and the yellow, because I want to come up here like this and suggest, let's take that cad yellow light here. We're going to suggest that this light is coming on a couple leaves through the window up here like that. Now, that's fine, so we just take a little bit more cad yellow there. I want that lighter, okay? Say there's a leaf. Now, what we have to do is dry that and go with some darker, just a little bit of brown, a little bit of burnt umber, something like this. Might take a little phthalo green and white. I'll suggest some sort of leaf up here like this. Okay. And then I want to take that dark green. I gotta have to dry that, all right? So,
why don't you give that a quick
try? A little bit of this light showing, but not all of it. You see, we want that light green, but we had to layer this in. We want to suggest there's something on the window here. Okay. All right, so all the way up to the top of this, we have dark green. And maybe a little bit of yellow. So a little bit of marigold. Brush is too dirty. May have to dry it, but let's see. Yeah, let's dry that. While we're drawing it, let me just show you a couple things that we've got going in the Academy, which we think are way cool. John's going to have to back way out for you to see that. So, move my paper towel. Check this out. This is on a large 3-inch wide gallery wrap canvas. This is our, I think we're trying to remember what we called this.
Oh, the New Zealand Meadowland.
Yeah, New Zealand meadow. Inspired by our trip to New Zealand. We think this is painted in the Thomas Kinkade style of art, and it's done on a gold gessoed canvas. And that is, I think this is just a very happy painting if you're wondering about having something fun to paint in the for summer. And there's a wonderful, in the tutorial we explain how to create a center of interest and how to make sure that you've done that and how to create depth in the painting and atmospheric perspective. There's an awful lot in this tutorial. So that's in the Academy Acrylic Painting with Ginger. Or is it just paintingwithginger.com? Paintingwithginger.com or
Yep.
And we invite you to look for this tutorial, and if we're not sure when it's been released, check our YouTube Gazette every week because we tell you what's coming up. Okay? Now I'm going to take a moment and just dry this picture. How do you think it's coming?
I think it's looking pretty good there, Queenie.
It's not bad, right?
Well, it looked kind of funny in the beginning with just monochrome, but now getting some color into it.
Let me get another paper towel here to wipe my brush on. All right, so far so good. Now, the fun part about this painting is that I just want to make sure that I have the balance right on it. I think I need to bring my leaves over a little further. Maybe like this. There, okay, that kind of balanced that out a little bit better, like that better. And let's see, we want to make sure we have a clean brush. And we're gonna, which we don't. If I can't clean this, can't clean it. So I'll just get another one.
Now if you have phthalo green in it.
Yeah, once you've had green in it, you almost have to go wash the brushes. All right.
It's such a kryptonite color.
Some light color right here. Put a little bit of yellow with it too. Light color right here on the edge of this pot. All right, and just a couple dashes of that. Some of that light color right here. I can do it. This is just your light on the window. And it's going to be your light on this cup, and that's just your buff titanium. If you need to, you're not sure, you don't want to lose all your work, draw where you're going to put it in. For instance, I know I want a shape about like that. So if you, like I say, just kind of
a little road map.
Yeah, it never hurts to just do that, because that will a little bit of white to that. It's a different style of painting than you normally see us do. It's I don't know why I would call it stylized, but it is a technique.
Well, it's very impressionistic.
Yes.
You're using more short strokes, implying things instead of spelling them out, so the viewer can be a part of the artwork.
Absolutely.
Get them involved.
Can add some white to some of it. Some can be a little bit brighter than somewhere else. Now let's dry it and give it 2 coats of that. Introducing the Karen Little Scholarship Fund, a unique and heartwarming initiative that aims to support talented artists facing financial difficulties. Established by the Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting, this special scholarship program is designed to offer a helping hand to aspiring artists who dream of becoming a part of our leading-edge online art school but are held back by financial constraints. At the heart of the Karen Little Scholarship Fund is a commitment to match every dollar donated, thereby doubling the impact of each contribution. The funds raised through this program are utilized to provide scholarships to deserving artists, enabling them to unlock their full potential and pursue their passion for acrylic painting. The benefits of participating in an art program such as acrylic painting are manifold. Engaging in the creative process can have a profoundly positive effect on mental well-being. It allows individuals to express their emotions, relieve stress, and foster a sense of accomplishment. In addition, art programs foster social interactions by providing a platform for artists to connect with like-minded peers, exchange ideas, and receive invaluable feedback. To express our gratitude to the generous donors supporting the Karen Little Scholarship Fund, we offer a chance to win original paintings by the renowned artist Ginger Cook. For every $25 donated during the quarter, contributors will receive a ticket that is placed in a fish bowl. At the end of each quarter, we draw 4 tickets, announcing the lucky winners of these exquisite masterpieces. By donating to the Karen Little Scholarship Fund, you not only stand a chance to bring a Ginger Cook original painting into your life, but you also make a meaningful impact on the lives of struggling artists. Through your contributions, you empower them to overcome financial barriers, immerse themselves in the enriching world of acrylic painting, and contribute their unique perspectives to the vibrant artistic community. Join us in fostering a culture of creativity, inclusivity, and artistic excellence by supporting the Karen Little Scholarship Fund today. Please note that the Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting, including the Karen Little Scholarship Fund, is not a registered 501(c)(3) organization under the United States Internal Revenue Code. Consequently, any donations made to the Karen Little Scholarship Fund or the Academy are not tax-deductible for federal income tax purposes. We sincerely appreciate your support and generosity in helping aspiring artists achieve their dreams through our scholarship program. Drawing rules: to participate, you must be 18 years of age or older. Regional rules and conditions apply. Void where prohibited. Disclaimer: The scholarship drawing is not affiliated with YouTube or any Google products in any way at all. Okay.
Looks you're conveying sunlight.
Yeah. So I don't want them all the same. I want some where it's a little translucent and then some where they're not. So, you know, I might not do all the edges, but there's wanted something on this windowsill and something here. Let's see, a little bit of light up here, a couple bits here. All right, so now what I want to do is warm up some of those. So here's a little bit of orange, cadmium orange, and I might just tint those just a little bit, just give a little bit of warm color to these, almost a glaze, not just barely suggest it. They're not quite, just small stuff that we did on this. Small stuff, and I want some. I think I have some pretty good contrast. Do you think so, John?
I think
I
so.
got this wall dark enough. Yeah, when it dries, I think it will be dark enough, and then I want to have the I think what needed to happen here was we needed to bring this plant out over that. There you go, that ledge, so we're not having to explain it that much. Want something a little bluer here. All right, just now I'm just playing with colors. And I probably want a smaller brush. Now we're just going to start adding highlights. Okay.
The lights, the darks.
Yeah, just
get the contrast in there.
Finish these off. I got down too far with that. There we go on that one. I still have to put the cup in. Maybe I said something dark right here. The inside of that. Okay, got something a little bit darker there, and I don't have enough ultramarine blue out anymore. I've used all that. And The purple and ultramarine. So it's something very dark right here. So it's a really combination of which something's either lighter or darker than something else. And you can just imply it. You don't have to just say it completely. Does that make, I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You just have to imply that that's the...
Let the viewer fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
Get your viewer involved in your art.
All right. So you've got that, and lighter on this face. I'm looking to see where our contrast is again. All right, so I still need the handle on that one. So that would just be titanium white. We're going to roll that out on the brush like that. Can have a little yellow in it. Because it's going to start right here. It's going to end here. How did we end up with that blue color right there? So far, so good. Yes and yes.
Looks it to me.
Well,
kind of like it. You smell that fresh cup of coffee. Mm-mm. All right, I don't drink coffee.
You don't drink coffee.
It's muddy water.
I didn't get that light enough. And let me dry that so I can make it blue. Otherwise, I'll have green background there.
Certainly don't want to have a green background, so let's just test this out and see how it looks with me blabbing while she's drawing. See if it's any good at all. We're at 1 hour and 20 minutes.
So
I guess that's kind of key, isn't it? No wind to dry.
yeah, John, because yellow and blue make green. So if you're gonna say, if you had to lighten up here, and this just you've been wiping yellow with, and then you want to wipe some blue. You've got the yellow there, so wipe somewhere else, right?
Absolutely.
See, like there's some blue there, and I've got some yellow in that brush, even though I tried to clean it.
No, it's not clean enough.
See, so I'll just see what I've got right there. Some white. There you go. Remember, there's different shades of blue in here too. They're all not the same color blue in the table. See, that's what's so fun too, is that you've got this blue, and I want to come here with it right like that. Bring it that way. Something a little darker. I'll do that. Oh, I hate that brush. Why am I even using it? Couldn't tell you. Just people just wonder why something isn't painting well for them. Look at your brush. That'd be the first place I'd look.
He could be the culprit right off the bat.
Huh?
He could be the culprit right off the bat.
Absolutely. Okay. See, just be a little light highlight somewhere. Because your eye will follow the light pattern. All right? So that's what you're going for. Is your eyes going to follow the light pattern. I have to have some clean white. It was getting into the blues, and so I wasn't able to get what I needed to have happen. Okay, so there's just a little bit of light right up in there. And that highlight. All right, I really like this light, kind of really neat highlight on the side of this face, which I really want that light, kind of light. It's got a little bit of light yellow in it. That's where no, I'm going to just look at my contrast. Move this paper towel is a little confusing now for my contrast on this picture, to see where my contrast is, and if I have it light or bright enough anywhere or light enough anywhere, or then I can see where I could do let's see, what am I looking for? I need something really bright on that. I'm going to try some luminous orange.
Well, that's going to brighten things up.
Yeah. I'm going to try a little bit of that with my orange color and yellow. I want something brighter right here on this. Oops, let's try a different brush. This is where you absolutely have to have an angle brush. Between those two, yeah, there we go. Yeah, see, I just needed something brighter right there. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but not to be too crazy, but I just absolutely needed that. There, so that got that brighter. We should be pretty good with this this handle of the cup right here. That's brighter right there. Almost done, you guys.
The pain and suffering of it all.
Well, no, you got to know when to turn off the lights and turn on the lights. So
absolutely.
We've got a lot of this going on up here. So let's take some raw umber. Let's see, where do I have that? Should take a moment and pause while I look for the raw umber, John. This is too bright up here. See, that has to be toned down. You just need a couple of that color surprise up there. Yeah. And I still think the wall's too bright. Don't seem to have the contrast. Could do something darker under here. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like it's bright enough.
Looks like the original's a little bit darker on that wall.
That's what I'm just saying. That might take some raw umber or something.
Do a quick snap of it. Pretty second. Here's raw umber.
Thank you. Because, I mean, all of these are beautifully done. The coffee pot, everything. How long am I in this for anyway? 2 hours?
Just under a buck and a half.
So I'm not getting the bright light on those white.
Right now, your focal point's that guy.
Yeah, this one. That's my focal point. Yeah, which is fine, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not getting the... Just this corner has to be darker, but... give me a black and white of that.
Of what?
Of the original. Can you do that?
Yeah. Let's go ahead. And saturation guy. That one there. Desaturate it.
So what am I missing?
They got a little bit more lightness down in here. That's a little bit lighter. Not much though. I wouldn't worry about that. What I would do, I'd vignette this corner. Just darken this corner down so it then jets down into
and then add some more white down here at the beginning.
Down the bottom. You're not that far off. They were a little darker inside. I don't know if you have to do that though. It was pretty dark. You left the spoon off, which I would do. The wall looks good. I mean,
I could do something right here. Just this is a little too dark right there.
Well, they're pretty dark over there too. You're not far off.
No.
And discard changes. Let me cancel this one. Discard changes. Yeah, right. Got a plan?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a second. Just get my butt back down and clap us back in.
Okay, so I'm going to take some raw umber and a little bit of water. And I want to just push those back. That's a good, raw umber is a translucent color. So if you've got something a little bit bright, I can leave some of that. But I wanted to, there, just kind of knock those ones back a little bit. There you go. That's just, and I want to come up here to this corner. Let me just change brushes. And want to darken this corner because I feel like we're just, it's too light. So I'm going to come up here like this and come over my wall like this. Just darken this just a bit. Yeah, I'm going to wipe that raw umber off because that wasn't, I don't know where we bought that, but that's there. Even this, I'm just using a little bit of burnt sienna up here now, which is better.
Just kind of darken it down a little bit.
Just your eye was going up to that corner, and I wanted these light, the bits of light, to show up. You can always, repaint a wall. That's the nice thing about painting a wall like this is you wanted something like this to show up. You can still add your grays and your dark browns and because that's definitely what it was. It was just, I'm gonna do over here like this. I'm gonna try and save those out. It's easier to paint over these than it is to, to come back then paint around them. Does it make sense? So I want to say that wall is darker. Wipe the brush off. Just play with this wall a little bit. I know this isn't the kind of stuff that we normally do on YouTube, so usually don't take this long to do a painting, but we just
get a little bit of touch of what we do in the academy.
Yeah, kind of probably more what we do in the academy. If we see something isn't quite right, we just
we'll spend another hour or two fixing it.
Yeah,
and we show you how to fix it. That's the key.
We're just gonna come down here like that, and I don't want to talk about this that much. Wipe the brush off. I didn't really like the way that shadow was right there, so I'm just gonna bring that down like that. Just didn't like it.
Just kind of blending it in.
So again, didn't like it, so and that's all right. Just sometimes you paint something, you think it's gonna work, and it doesn't. And you gotta see how you have all that paint and wipe it off, and then just work it around. Again, I want the contrast on this wall, so that's better for sure. Something a little darker next to this pot was good too. See, now the pot's sort of standing out a little better. Yes and yes?
Absolutely. That's what it needed.
Yeah.
A little separation from the background.
Yeah, now we'll go back over and repaint these in. And
brighten them back up.
Yeah, brighten them back up. In the meantime, I'll just come up to the edge of this pot. Little cup here. All right, so that's so much happier with this now than I was.
And that's the ultimate goal.
Because I think that's the thing is that, I messed up my background. I don't like it. Everything is changeable. Everything. You can change anything.
You're not married to it.
No, and people, I think that they are, and I don't know where that little bit of white came from. We'll get rid of that. I do see it before you all panic and say, what about the white, Ginger? What about the white? All right, now.
Oh, you read my mind.
So, what's something a little darker right there by this pot, right like that? A little bit of contrast, yeah? Because it's all about contrast. Yes?
Yes and yes.
So I'll take that brush now and we know we want a little shadow there. It doesn't have to be this. So So let's put them, or let's put another paper towel out. I've been doing that the last few YouTube videos and just encouraging you guys, because I do it all the time. I just, normally you just don't see it. All right, there we go. Now, what I've decided we need to happen is we need more light up in here. So we're going to do a little bit more light on the table. We're going to add some more light up in here. Let's just there. I think that looks a little better. Don't you, John?
Absolutely.
Don't want any straight lines. Now we've got, now let's take a look, that little brush and let's see, what are we going to use? All right, let's lighten up our little spots on the wall now.
Now she's looking better.
Oh, now you really see it, don't you?
Yep.
Isn't that funny? But it's small stuff, but
It's small stuff that adds up.
yeah. It's a real, yeah, it's just, I think that's, to me, that's really interesting about how, I love, pictures like this where there's all these bright, patterns of light and dark on the table or wherever it is. Where we have this fabulous contrast. And that makes that our center of interest. And add a little bit of that color. It's just small stuff, right? Just the smallest little thing can make a difference. We just keep putting in the sometimes you just want a little bit of color somewhere to to add that, make that all add up. And okay, so it kind of gives our windowsill a little bit of light. It's just the same color with a little romper in it. Same light green, but it's just not quite so bright. There you go. Well, that's a bright kind of morning.
It's a happy picture. Go look in the kitchen.
Yeah, I think so. Do you have a frame we could show for this, John?
Absolutely. You all finished up there, McQueenness?
Yeah, I think so.
What about that little white dot?
I'm still getting that, but...
I mean, you told me you would.
Yeah.
I don't want to stress over it.
Okay, I'll just...
Let me get up and get a frame.
I think gold. Don't you think so? I think... Well, I sure didn't want green on there. Never mind that. Let me just take this red here and
well, that phthalo green is like kryptonite.
it is, isn't it? But by golly, I think that's exactly what we wanted to do here. Is, you know, just have something very nice for the dark up like that. And then a little bit of gold right here on top of that. There. All right, I'm going to just stop here and here's our frame. Let me just show you what this kind of looks like when it's framed and we get it away from everything. Well,
that really finishes off a painting, doesn't it?
Oh, you know, I think it really does. I really think it does. And as I see it in a frame, it's not funny, but as I see it in a frame, I can
the paintbrush comes out.
Sure. See, that's just small stuff, John, but the paintbrush comes out. And where I see where I might want something on the saucer here. Or maybe something a little lighter here than that. Or maybe that's darker here, like that, around the side of the cup. So yeah, there's all these things you can, you looking for the contrast, right? That's what we're doing. We're looking for the contrast. And something lighter, darker blue than something else. Where's our phthalo blue? Oh, I'm liking that. See? Sometimes you just got to go in with your artist instinct and say, what do I need to do?
The final touches.
What do I need to do to create this. And yeah, I think that's a happy, to me, that's a very, very happy kitchen painting.
I think so.
You see where I was just going under here with a little dark, like under the saucer right here, but not too much else. We know we've got a little bit darker right there. And it's not, you know, you don't have to do too much. Everyone, so just look and see where your lights and darks are. And where your center of interest is, which is going to be this bright yellow cup. And it certainly is really bright yellow, right? And this is where cad yellow light, you can't
make it by adding white.
No, you can't make it. We say that all the time. But sometimes certain colors that you need, you for sure have to have cad yellow medium. But you might want
right from the tube.
Right from the tube. There's the cad yellow light on that. There on that cup, and
that makes it the star for sure.
And it's bright, right? And it's I don't know, just these things are just, I know it's all kind of small when you're talking about shadows and where you put something and where something else is or isn't, right? And you know, where I want to darken, let me just move the frame for a second.
Thank you.
Where I want to just darken something up right there in this corner. There. See? And kind of darker between those two things. I think darker right here. All right. And I think we've got a nice morning painting. Anyway, so I hope you had fun. Hope you have fun painting it. We haven't done a lot of this kind of paintings in this size, so I'd be curious to know if this was something you'd like to see us do more often. We really got the lights on here, didn't we, John?
Absolutely.
That's where two coats comes in, you know, for the light shadows on the wall. Yeah, that's where our light comes from. I guess I'm just going to sign it and hope that. See, I think we'll sign it with white too. Would you sign it with white?
I would sign it with white.
Remember, you know, I love seeing your paintings from our tutorials and other stuff, and you know, so one of the nicest ways to do that is to be a red or purple member or blue member, and you can send me your artwork in for personal art coaching, or you know, and I'd love to see it from that standpoint. Or you could show us on our Facebook page, right? You know, John, I made such an effort to put the, here it goes.
To put it back,
yeah.
And you don't forget where put it back is.
I made such an effort. Now, this wasn't the one, but I'll just do it right here like that. No, I can't do that because it's not, that's the wrong one. It's not, well, when I do the introduction, you'll see it signed, you guys. So just say goodnight for now. I've got to go hunt down another Posca pen, but thanks for watching, and can't wait to see what you paint.
And please subscribe on the way out, give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you folks next week. Really appreciate you coming. Bye.
Bye.
Step into the vibrant world of the Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting, which is located at paintingwithginger.com, where creativity flows and inspiration soars. Our esteemed institution has long been synonymous with excellence in the arts, providing an unrivaled educational experience for aspiring artists worldwide. With our comprehensive library of online acrylic painting video tutorials, you can now indulge your passion for the arts from the comfort of your own home, connecting with your inner artist at your own pace. We understand that every artist's journey is unique, and that's why we're proud to announce our offering of single lesson purchases for our online acrylic painting video tutorials. This flexible option caters to those who wish to cherry-pick specific lessons that resonate with their artistic aspirations. Whether you're looking to master a specific technique, explore a new style, or simply dabble in the world of acrylics, our single lesson purchases empower you to take control of your artistic growth. Each meticulously crafted lesson is available for online streaming, or can be downloaded for offline viewing, allowing you to immerse yourself in the creative process wherever and whenever inspiration strikes. Ginger and John, renowned for their expertise and passion for the craft, will guide you through each lesson, breaking down complex techniques into easily digestible steps. With their wealth of knowledge and infectious enthusiasm, you'll be well on your way to mastering the captivating world of acrylic painting. So why wait? Embark on your artistic journey today with the Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting. Embrace the freedom to explore, create, and grow as an artist, one single lesson at a time. Experience the transformative power of the arts, and watch as your canvas comes alive with your imagination's vivid colors and textures. Head over to paintingwithginger.com and start your journey today.